jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Salute to everyone that's on deck, and shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side, 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 A-side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know. Big Blunts and Boxing in the building. The first on deck. You already know the GOAT has arrived. I was literally just looking at this on Twitter, man. What's good with it, Blunts? Shout out to Carlos on deck in the building. WCS ain't no way that's Lesnar's daughter. That's Brock himself. Yeah, man. So let me get down to it, right? Being that I'm a track and field, athlete myself back in the day, and I'm not here to bore you all with times that really didn't matter except in the state of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this is quite interesting because I kind of, grew up following, some of these wrestlers turn entertainers. And I remember, being in where Brock Lesnar picture was floating around. You know what I'm saying? Brock Lesnar had this picture right here floating around that kind of went viral before viral was even a thing. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you right quick. I must didn't save it. So it was this picture that was floating around. Hold on, let me make this work. Give me 1 second. If you're in the building, do me a favor by, hitting that like button. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I wonder why. Oh, that's why. Okay, I got you. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Okay, but anyway, let it keep moving. Um, it was a college picture floating around of Brock Lesnar where he was on the mat, and you know this dude had some of the biggest freaking traps you can imagine at the time to be in, you know, to be on the mat at that age. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it was some wrestlers that was, you know, talking about it, say, damn, you know, he's up here wrecking shop and everything like that. And Brock Lesnar, you know, truth be told, you know, as far as his wrestling career, he I think he had a record of 106 wins and only 5 losses. And I think his alma mater was, let me double check, was the Minnesota Golden Gophers. All right. You know, in his college days, he wrestled at 285 pounds. That's college, y'all. You're talking about 285 in college now. I know some football players that's off the line in college, but this dude was wrestling 285 in college. But anyway, the news is going viral is the fact that his daughter, Maya Lesnar, broke the Colorado State shot put record. Now, the devil ain't a lie. And just like y'all was saying in the chat, his genes run deep. His genes run crazy. It's just unbelievable that this is his daughter. They look splitting image of one another. Real talk, splitting image of one another. It's simply insane looking at how she look now, and being that she's undertaking the shot put, which you have to have some type of I would say above average strength to compete at shot put. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he was a beast of an athlete when he was in wrestling, coming up through, I mean, when he was in high school, coming up through college, and did what he did as a professional. You know, most people know him as Brock Lesnar, world wrestling entertainer. Then his daughter's coming up through the college ranks right now, and she just broke the Colorado state record. It says Lesnar finished 17th at the NCAA championships in the shot put last year, recording a distance of 16.72. She already has surpassed that mark this season, as she has another appearance at the Nationals later in the season. They say it's no paternity test. This is I'm reading. This is not coming from me. This is the Sporting News. They say there's no paternity test needed. The genetics run strong in the Lesnar family, as Maya has the brute strength like her father. Here's more information on Lesnar's daughter. She's a junior track and field athlete at Colorado State, where she specialized in the shot put. She also has competed in the weight throw, hammer throw, and discus throw. She is currently in her second year with the Rams. Maya first started her NCAA track and field career at Arizona State, spending 2 years with the Sun Devils before transferring after the 2021-22 school year. Now, this is an older when she was with Arizona State. I don't know what's up with this. Okay, let me try another way. Stupid. this is her, you know what I'm saying, earlier when she was with Arizona State. You know what I'm saying? Still look just like her pops, man. And, you know, she has grown since then, being 2 years with Colorado State. And she has put on some crazy size. I'm not going to lie. You compare to now, you know what I'm saying? It seems like, you know, her forearms, and she's basically participating in all these strength throws, you know, these strength type freaking challenges that you have to do in track and field. I mean, her events, hammer throw, shot put, and all that, you got to have some incredible strength to compete on that level. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy that how her father was known for his size and stature, and his daughter, she's basically following in his footsteps, and they look identical. You know what I'm saying? And she's already huge. She done put on size, just like he was pretty decent size when he was in high school. So, you know, she come to a point where she's gone viral right now for breaking the Colorado State record. And it goes on to say in this article, it said, Maya broke the school record of indoor shot put while competing at the Alumni Classic, where she finished first in her weight throw with the mark of 21.11 meters last weekend. She broke the previous record of 17.55 with the mark of 18.50, moving her to the #1 position in Colorado State. It's top 20, which says she currently leads the nation in women's indoor shot put. So she currently leads the nation. Her new PR and new school record, she wrote in a post on Instagram, which featured a video of her record-breaking performance. The Rams are scheduled to compete in 2 different meets in Colorado Springs this weekend. The Air Force Holiday Open on December 8th, followed by the UCCS pre-holiday invite December 8th through 9th. So just let it be known, Maya transferred to Colorado State after spending her freshman and sophomore year at Arizona State, where she competed in shot put as a member of the Sun Devils track team. So right now, you know, she's making news. Of course, that must be a whole different life, you know, knowing that your dad is Brock Lesnar. You know what I'm saying? A legend in itself. You know, one of the only few individuals that was able to compete as a wrestling entertainer, then come over to the UFC, win a championship belt. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that people duplicate all the time. That was an incredible feat for him. You feel me? Like, I remember Brock Lesnar when he was suplexing their ass all over the ring. I was saying to myself, man, I mean, how do you even practice that? I know it's a way that, you know, you get the body lock at a certain level of the body, and so you won't crack them on their head. But from my understanding, you know what I'm saying, you still feel it, period. But, you know, a wrestling entertaining legend back in the day, still my favorite is Bill Goldberg. You know what I'm saying, period. You know what I'm saying? But much respect to Lesnar, and then to have a daughter that's coming up in the sports world on track and field, doing strength events. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And then to be splitting image of a dad, that's just wow. You know what I'm saying? It just make you shake your head like, damn, that DNA, that lineage run deep over there in the Lesnar family. I ain't gonna lie. Them genes are super deep. Ain't nobody effing with her. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. Shoot. I mean, hey, if she can't handle it, all she gotta do is make a phone call, and Pop's gonna be up here like, you know, I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I don't feel like suplexing nobody, man. Come on. You know I can't do it. I gotta be in the ring. I suplex them in that hallway. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna work out in their favor. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing about Brock though is that he actually, you know, can fight. You know, they say his hands are ginormous, and you know, he actually, I think right now, is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, I think. But yeah, he the real deal, man. You know what I'm saying? He the real deal. Shout out to Bruce Goes. Bruce Gas Boxing Jackson Moore. What's good with it, Bruce? OG in the building. I heard Brock Lesnar workout regime is insane to this day. Yeah, he's a beast, man. Real talk. I mean, you've seen his transformation from the early days to now. You know, when you get older and you're not as frequent as you used to be, you know, you got to chill from jumping off the top rope and slamming people and all that. But truth be told, you know, I pretty much, you know, follow track and field a lot. And I just wanted to put it out there since it's, you know, going viral right now. More so the way his daughter looked compares to him, and the fact that she's doing strength events. You know what I'm saying? She's competing in track and field strength events that's basically mirroring what her father is known for. You know, Brock Lesnar is known to be a guy who will pick somebody up over his head, you know, just be a beast of a character inside the ropes. So for his daughter to come up and they take this picture is just like insane right now. This shit is insane. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's no way in hell he can deny that's his daughter. I mean, they splitting images with one another. Real talk. Splitting images. Arnold Brown on deck. I see you. What's good? I see WWE in her future. Yeah, I see that. Absolutely. You know, I didn't want to really bleed that over to her accomplishment in breaking that state record. I mean, that college record or what have you. But I can definitely see her potentially going over to women's wrestling, and you know them saying, "Oh, this is the you know, the daughter of legend Brock Lesnar." You know what I'm saying? Now competing in the ring. That's if they choose to do it, though. But you're right. She may potentially pick up a career when she get in her 20s. It all depends on the conversation that her and her pops have. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? That ain't no easy freaking task. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Boxing Nerd 101 on deck, man. Beast that's incarnated. Yeah, man, she's a beast right now. That's a big girl, for real. That's a big girl, and she's doing big things right now. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. Shout out to the Lesnars, my Lesnar, or what have you. Salute to them. I want to talk about you know, this situation. Shout out to Blunts for dropping this. You know, it was a pretty good laugh. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good laugh, and I'm not gonna really convolute the live with this per se, because it's two different things: boxing and shot put, record breaking. And I was contemplating. I say, man, should I shut down the live and just do, you know what I'm saying, do a whole nother live? But I'll just talk about it because it's Frank Martin. It's just because it's Frank Martin and you know the decisions he's been making lately. So of course, you know, he turned down the fight with Shakur or whatever, and it was a big deal because here's a guy who never fought for a world title yet, but yet he turned down that amount of money. And his excuse or his line of defense was that all Shakur could have did is gave him a little bit of you know what I'm saying? I mean, but $1 million is damn good money. But from running through the rumor mill was that he had, you know, after his total calculations and what his net pay would be, you know, coming home, then he's like, I need to force the issue. See, sometimes you got to make a sacrifice. Everybody tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to make a sacrifice. That don't mean you have to make every sacrifice. In this case, this wasn't an every sacrifice. This is the guy who didn't look that well against Jackson Mariñez, and then he went in there and had a highlight moment, sort of, kind of, against Michelle Rivera. Michelle Rivera is on the come up, just like Frank Martin was on the come up. But the difference between them is that Martin, he's much older. You know, he's getting much older up in there. So, you know, him getting big fights is now to get himself to establish as a world champion so he can try to make some of those big paychecks and keep it moving. So he dispersed him in Chair Rivera, and then I guess the opportunity presented itself after Devin Haney was vacating the titles. Shakur Stevens is going to Shakur Stevens is going to fight for the WBC. The first opponent dropped out, and then came Frank Martin. Frank Martin, went viral, so to speak, for the wrong reason of him pretty much believing something off the social media, believing that, certain numbers were what they were about the $1 million+ that Shakur Stevenson was supposedly being offered. And he wanted to come over here and latch on to it without doing his research. So he goes up there and turns down a fight just because he feels that for some crazy reason that he needed a little bit, added to his purse. And a fighter that's in your position, Martin, you cannot put yourself up to say, I don't have a problem with fighters negotiating. You know what I'm saying? I say, get what you get. But you haven't had any big fights. You haven't earned no championships. And plus, when you're talking about having the opportunity to dethrone Shakur Stevenson now, you have the opportunity to dethrone Shakur Stevenson in the championship, a 12-round championship fight. You have the opportunity to put Shakur Stevenson's name on your resume, brother. You have the opportunity to have a big fight. That could have been you in there instead of De Los Santos. It could have been you. It could have been you instead of De Los Santos, man. We would have liked to see what you was capable of instead of De Los Santos. Just because of who you were attached with and you being in one of the hottest divisions, you know what I'm saying, the lightweight divisions, we wanted to see how that would have played out, bro. But, Frank Martin turned it down. So a tweet, this was up by Boxing Scene, brother. It said, for Frank Martin, I really want a William Cepeda. He's trying to call out William Cepeda, who's undefeated over at Golden Boy. And then, the co-founder, Oscar De La Hoya, said, fight Stevenson and then I'll think about it. I mean, that's savage. I ain't gonna lie. That's savage right there. That's more savagery. You know what I'm saying? That's savagery from Oscar. For real. I guess Oscar say, I'm tired of these young bucks trying to think they can just walk around here and do what they want. You know what I'm saying? And act like there's no repercussion and consequences. Goddamn, I need to remind you of what I did back in the day. Oscar said, fight Stevenson and then I'll think about it. If that ain't sunning Martin, I don't know what is. That's pretty much sunning him. That's say, man, fight Shakur Stevenson, the fight that you turned down. And look, I can't imagine how much you would get right now because Stevenson is the champion. You know what I'm saying? After looking at the fight, you should be knocking at the door. Hey, man. Hey, Shakur, you want that fight now? You should be having confidence. All you gotta do is go in there and try to put that pressure on them. Have them thinking, keep them uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do, Frank. That's all you got to do. But I don't think the money yesterday is going to be the money today in the worst way for you when you talk about fighters' pay. I think you probably going to get offered less than you did last time because y'all was both fighting for a vacant title. Now the owner is Shakur Stevenson. And you know what I'm saying? And you should be knocking at the door seeking you get that fight. It's for a championship, brother. Why do you want William Cepeda? What is going on over here? Somebody explain that shit to me. Why this dude want William Cepeda, bro? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. The UFC thought they're a little different unless she got some type of striking skills. You don't really have to have striking skills to get in the UFC because I'll give you a perfect example of Logan Paul is now a star over in wrestling entertainment, right? You know what I'm saying? And he didn't have any wrestling skills. So if her father is Brock Lesnar she probably has been in the gym and practiced on them hands enough, you know what I'm saying, to do a little something. But and to link up with what you saying, D, I think I said she'd be in the World Wrestling Entertainment. I don't know if she'd be in the UFC. If she does in the UFC, she would have to compete at a weight class that's 145 pounds or lighter. They don't have a weight class that's higher than 145 pounds. If she chooses to go to the PFL, they have a 155 pound class. But that's so far away. I was more so saying the World Wrestling Entertainment, for her to go over there and do her thing over there. That's much more user friendly to her to go over there and do something that her father did too. I'm pretty sure, you know, with the combat skills training, he's probably taught her some wrestling training. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard to fathom that he can be a 7-time champion and not teach his daughter anything. Shit. D said, Frank the Duck, in my opinion. Frank don't want no Keyshawn or Shakur smoke. Well, I don't know what the man want right there, you know, sitting on that screen. I don't know what he want. I see him hanging out on podcasts like it's a slumber party. He just want to chop it up. He don't have nothing going on. I mean, this dude really need to work on building up his you know, his popularity with the fans, so the consumers will come out and pay to see him fight. He just don't give me a sense of urgency to understand what the business part of boxing is. Just like, you know, him being attached to Man Down Promotions. I mean, what's going on with them? You know, what's popping? I mean, you know, how y'all building up your fighter over there? What's next for Frank Martin? He's just up here coming out the blue saying he want William Cepeda for what? For what? Why should William Cepeda fight you? I don't see the logic in that. Why don't you just go back and revisit, you know, Shakur Stevenson, since everybody was basically giving you backlash for it, ridiculing you for turning down the fight. Why don't you just go back over there so maybe you can be a better, you know what I'm saying, you can do something better than what Edward De Los Santos was able to do. You can be you know what I'm saying, you can compete a lot tougher than what he did. You can provide a much, you know, better challenge to Shakur Stevens. I mean, hey, I don't know about this William Cepeda, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's on the spot with De La Hoya checking you. You know what I'm saying? Say fight Stevenson, then I think about it. Because you I mean, come on, bro. It's nothing going on with you right now. Frank don't want no Keyshawn. See, when I hear the Keyshawn fight, that'll be a good fight. But also you have Andy Cruz out there. Look, mark my word, Andy Cruz, but you know, give or take, Andy Cruz is gonna start surfacing. You see the bubbles now. His first fight as a professional was a 10-rounder now. Don't forget that guy. Andy Cruz is gonna surface and show his face. He gonna have both hands on his hips and he gonna be like, hey, I'm here. He gonna have his cape on. I'm telling you, he's gonna start making a motherfucking splash, and people need to watch out for it. And, you know, that's gonna be Keyshawn's situation if Andy really starts to grow and say, okay, I want Keyshawn now. See, that right there, they have history. They have history with one another. For Frank Martin, I don't know who he has history with. The only history we can talk about is him turning down the fight with Stevenson. Who does he have history? What's the history? Machair Rivera is at 140. You know what I'm saying? Can't fight him no more. Jackson Mariñez is no impact, no idea. Not relevant right now. Who you need to build up some type of rivalry with somebody in 135-pound divisions now that the belts are loose. Now that the belts are loose. I told you all when he turned down the fight with Shakur that possibly once the belts became vacated, he was going to try to fight for a vacant belt. And we know that vacant belt, unless they try to do the man dirty, he is not going to be Shakur Stevenson. So he may potentially try to line himself up for a title, you know what I'm saying, for a vacant crown. That may be his direction on where he's trying to go, Frank Martin. Arnold Brown said Martin versus Schofield. Hey, man, I like that. I like that right there. Yes, sir. I like that right there. Shout out to Arnold on deck in the building. I like that. Hey, somebody better start putting respect on Schofield's name, including WCS, goddammit. My bad. But speaking of Schofield too, I like that fight with him, between him and Frank Martin. Shout out to Schofield for a dominating performance. That was he was supposed to do with that opponent. Blasted him, walked through him, destroyed him. Looked strong. One thing I can say about Schofield, when they post his freaking strength and conditioning videos out there, they're entertaining to watch. I'm talking about dude looks like a superhero with his strength and conditioning. You know what I'm saying? That's how you build a profile. You out here doing strength and conditioning training and you rip the shreds and people actually believe in what you're doing. They say, okay, I'm telling you, man, somebody's going to pick this dude up. Schofield, somebody's going to sponsor him, some type of freaking athletic sponsorship or whatever, because he's up here putting these videos up here. He's showing he's in tremendous shape. And somehow, some way, somebody gonna look at him and say, okay, that'd be a guy to put on the screen. I'm telling you how the fitness community work, bro. You know what I'm saying? But a fight between him and Frank, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. And while we here, I want to go over to the 135-pound division. If you're in the building, hit the like button for me. I appreciate you. So at the 135-pound division, of course, you know, Devin Haney is still in the process of releasing the crowns, okay? But let's look at some of these names. William Zepeda is number 2 in the WBC, and Frank Martin is number 6. And of course, we're waiting on updates. You know what I'm saying? William Zepeda in the the WBA is number 2, and Frank Martin is number 3. You see where I'm going with this? Frank Martin is ranked number 6 in the WBO, and William Zepeda is number 5. But I can see his angle for which he's trying to take for the WBA, because Isaac Cruz, for what it's worth, is going to potentially fight Gervonta Davis. So Frank Martin being ranked behind William Zepeda, he feels like that's a good move for him to put him closer to lining him up as a mandatory for, you know what I'm saying, that WBA crown or the WBA regular. When Gervonta Davis is removed, I don't know if they actually did it yet, but if Gervonta Davis is removed, when he's removed from that WBA regular title, I'm assuming they're going to absolve it. They are going to jettison it permanently, and that's only going to leave like 3 WBA regular titleists remaining because they're trying to clean up that. They're trying to do away with the Reggie. So that's the only angle I can think with Frank Martin on fighting William Zepeda. Is the highest he's ranked in the WBA is number 2 for William Zepeda, and then number 2 also in the WBC. But Frank Martin is all the way down at number 6. So if he's planning on going the WBC route, you know, there's Jermaine Ortiz, Moratala. That's a tough fight. And of course, Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz right now has a higher stock value than Frank Martin, believe it or not, based off, you know, who he's fought so far, especially by the name of Gervonta Davis and going the distance. And from my understanding, they supposed to be fighting in 2024 in a rematch. I'll be honest, this is not a fight that I'm looking forward to. It's just another fight. You know, people are gonna look at it like, okay, Isaac Cruz has been a good little boy since the freaking going the distance, and they've been telling people they've been turning down fights and all that shit, waiting on another fight with Gervonta to get the paycheck. I hope it's worth it. You know why? Because I can see where they at with it. They looking at Ryan Garcia going in there and making that money with Gervonta. So Isaac Cruz has been waiting patiently in the chute to get that rematch with Gervonta Davis on pay-per-view so he can get that, you know, a couple of million or 3, you know what I'm saying, so he can get that paycheck. But in between time, he's been turning down fights like it's cool. So that's going to be a curious freaking how that plays out between Isaac Cruz and the WBA and all that shit. But for Frank Martin, there's plenty of other people out here for him to fight. You know what I'm saying? If you look at some of these rankings that Frank Martin is ranked in, Keyshawn Davis is like sitting at number 10 in the WBC. I don't know if Frank is going to act like, you know, I don't want to fight down. I want to fight up. And people are going to say, well, you had the opportunity to fight up when Shakur Stevenson offered you a fight and you didn't want to fight up. You just wanted to fight your demons and stay right there in place. In the IBF, Keyshawn Davis is number 7. You know? So it's very interesting. Of course, you always have Vasily Lomachenko out there, Maxie Hughes. You know, whenever he comes back up. But it's a hot division, bro. Real talk. It's a very, very hot division. Especially when you talk about those Floyd Schofields. Let me see where the other guy's at. He hasn't even broken to the rankings yet. Haven't even broken to the rankings. I see Roger Gutierrez is at 135 right now. You know what I'm saying? Former champion at 130. Okay. So it's pretty hot from, I would say, from 10 on up. You know what I'm saying? 10 on up. Why don't freaking Frank fight Oscar Duarte? Shit, fight him. I know that's pushing it, but Muratala, you know what I'm saying? That would be a tough fight for Frank. That would be a tough fight for Frank. But Frank is ranked number 6 in the WBO, and Muratala is number 7. That would be a good fight. Real talk. That'd be a real good fight. Yeah, he's strong, and then be playing in there. Yeah, he's strong. I'm not sure what you mean. Shout out to Jay on deck. Strong and then be playing and don't be playing in there. Yeah, and don't be playing. Yeah. Floyd Schofield. Yeah, I mean his strength and conditioning plus the way he looked, he went in there and just looked super impressive for that level of competition. He pretty much got to finish what he was supposed to do, didn't play around with it, was entertaining. And this is like a dude who at first people was just overlooking him because, you know, most of the time you see it, his dad is talking to him. And I get it, another father-son tandem and stuff like that. But the reason why people was overlooking because they didn't really connect him with a personality yet. So like, your dad doing all the talking, your dad doing all the talking. And that's his son. He said, I'm going to talk whenever. But, hey, when it comes down to it, hey, these sons, if they want to get some type of connection and relationship with these fans to come see them fight, they gotta let the fans know what their own personality is about. So I think more people kind of connected with Schofield after this fight. But, man, these fighters got to find a lane. They have to find their bravado, and they have to use it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you know, we need to put some respect on Floyd Schofield, more respect, really. It's not that we didn't respect him. It's just a lot of us don't know who he is like that. I seen him on the interviews and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, he's going in there and blasting through opponents. Now people tuned in. They, you know, they perked up and they said, okay, this dude, I want to match him up against this person. Just like they said in the chat, I want to see Schofield fight freaking Frank Martin. That's what you want them to say. You want people to start trying to put you in there, basically fantasy match you with big names in the division to get people talking. And when people start to talk, then the promoters and managers get together. Hey, you know what I'm saying? You think we can make this fight? You wanna get with them on the other side and see if we can make this fight? They talking about it now. We haven't seen that yet, so we'll see how it all play out with Frank. You know what I'm saying? He got a long ways to go. If I was you, big dog, I would stay away from just, you know, having slumber party talks. You know what I'm saying? As if that's what you need to be doing at the time. You need to be, you know, trying to find some type of way to reconnect with the fans that abandoned you when you turned down that fight with Shakur Stevenson. And you try to make it about a freaking something that you heard from social media about $1 million+ which had nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Moving on though, Richardson Hitchens say he's willing to fight Subriel Matias. You know what I'm saying? Now that fight right there would be tough for Richardson, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Richardson, even though he looked good against John Bowser, I mean that was a fight stylistically that people was predicting that he can look good against. I mean, come on. It was only a matter of time before John Bowser get dispersed, and he ended up getting dispersed, period. And Richardson Hitchens, shout out to him, he fought a damn good fight, and that's one of his best performances. The one glitch that I see in Hitchens is that when it comes down for being the type of fighter that is needed to be in the ring with Matias, you have to be willing to go blood, sweat, and tears and find a way to break him, man. Just like Matias is trying to break you. You got to match strength for strength, punch for punch, will for will. And see, Hitchens, to me, he just refused to go to the deep end sometime. A lot of times. He won't do it. He would get on his bicycle and he'll turn it into a boring fight. The dude can box his ass off. Shout out to Africa, man. Dude can box his ass off, but when it comes to him stepping in there with Matias, bro, you're gonna have to be able to remove any type of layer that you've been hiding behind. You know what I'm saying? That you kept your confidence nice and safe. You're gonna have to strip all that away, bro. You're gonna have to be willing to go in there and say, you know, this is the night that I try to break through the threshold. You know what I'm saying? I got to leave it all in the ring. It's going to be tough. I'm going to take a lot of damage, but this is what it takes. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a 12-round war. You got to make it a 12-round war. Because the only reason I'm saying that it has to be a war because Matias keeps on pressuring and pressuring. And he forces you into a corner. He forces you into the type of activity that's way outside Richardson Hitchens' comfort zone. It's way outside his comfort zone, bro. And when you're sitting up here boxing off the back foot and you're trying to land counter shots, put your combinations together, and you got a fighter that just keep walking you and walking you and walking you, either one or two things, you're gonna have success. If possible, you're gonna have success if you can land some effective, solid, punishing counter shots. But also on the other side, on the flip side of that, you have to have good legs. If you got good legs, cool. If you're able to utilize that mobility and round for round, be able to box off your back foot, utilize the ring space, you should be good. But if your legs cannot carry forward with the pressure that Matias is giving you, it's somewhat going to end up the same way that Ramon Villa and Rashidi Ellis did. Rashidi was boxing as much as he could off the back foot, and then he started to get tired and he'll park up against the ropes, and that's when Villa was able to land the shots and everything, right? But the one thing about Matias, man, the way he corners you, if you park up against the ropes, his payment plan, it comes with high interest, bro. High interest, bro. His payment plan, the way he set them shots up, the way his punch output is, you know, his interest rate is going to be hard to digest. If Hitchens cannot, you know, get this man to respect, you know what I'm saying, who he is, and also, I don't think that it'll no way, shape, or form be like we saw with Shakur Stevenson and De Los Santos in a chess match, so to speak. I don't see anybody forcing freaking Matias into a chess match. I do look at Hitchens as the type of boxer who loves fighting at his pace, loves, you know, being right there, being able to dictate, you know, if he's gonna come forward, if he's gonna fight off the back. You know what I'm saying? But Matias is gonna give you one option. That option is to deal with what's coming and show him that you can break it. Show Matias that you can break the code. That's your only option. He's going to come forward and force you to prove that you can break the code. If you can't get past that option, you're doomed. And that's my only thing with Richards and Hitchens, you know, fighting Matias. That's the only thing. Like, he doesn't really go all in on his fights like that. He doesn't go all in. When people expect him to just go in for the kill, he don't do it. But Matias is a killer. Matias is a killer, bro. That is a hunter. All-out hunter. Say what you want, how you want, when you want. Matias is nothing to play with, bro. Matias is nothing to play with. Y'all definitely keep an eye out too, for the fight that's coming up against Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez. Yes, sir. That's gonna be on deck real soon, and that's gonna be for the IBF WBO flyweight unification. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be for the IBF WBO unification. Can't wait for that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be a nice one. A 12-round affair right there. You know, I mean, Bam kind of did some sort of kind of, I want to say vintage. I can't say legendary because it's been done before, but just the fact that he did it the way he did it. You know what I'm saying? Moving up a couple of divisions, fighting for a championship, a vacant, winning it, and then defending it against the guy who was supposed to be fighting for the vacant previously in Sor Rungfasai and knocking him out. Knocking him out, bro. Come on, bro. Seriously. Shout out to Bomb Squad, man. Shout out to Deontay Wilder, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Deontay Wilder. I know they get tired of me playing my vintage.
Bomb Squad!
In case you was asleep out there. But Deontay Wilder says his contract with Saudi Arabia is for the next few years. I'm happy for the brother. That means he's going to get more money, more exposure, and then also his opponents You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to see him fight some solid opponents once again. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fighters seen him go through that trilogy with Fury, and even though we may see it as okay, he lost 2 out of 3, it's a lot of fighters ain't trying to step in there. One by the name of Anthony Joshua, come on, man. You know, Joshua still ain't trying to step in there. But kudos to the fight that's coming up, December 23rd, 2 days before X-Mays. You got Joseph Parker, former WBO heavyweight champion. You know what I'm saying? He lost his title to Anthony Joshua in a 12-round fiddle-faddle scattle. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like Joseph Parker did enough to survive or whatever. But, man, Wilder going in there against a tough opponent, Joseph Parker, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is a good name, because I remember when they was talking about, Deontay ain't fought nobody, and we're like, hold up. I don't want to hear that BS you got to say, WCS. I don't want to hear that, you goddamn Wilder fanboy. I just got a question though. We was once upon a time on a heavyweight depression because the Klitschko's had taken over, and then we recover, and the only American, not just any American heavyweight champion now, Olympian, comes on the scene and wins a title, and then the U.S. just shits on it, right? Y'all already know the story. But anyway, they were saying that the man didn't fight nobody. They was just acting like, okay, we got a U.S. champion, but we ain't satisfied. So what? He windmills all the time. He got power, but we don't like that. They went through a straight up, decade of hate. That's why U.S. boxing fans really can't be trusted when it comes to boxing, because you don't have a filter large enough to basically discard the casuals and the diehard fanatics. It's not a filter out there that basically separate them, okay? And there needs to be. But they were saying there's nobody. So Joseph Parker was over there as a WBO champion, and he got an opportunity to face Joshua. And, at that time, it was such a huge disconnect. Now it's coming back full circle. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how things play themselves out. Both Wilder and Joshua, former champions, will be able to face each other December 23rd. That's going to be a hell of a fight. That is going to be a hell of a card. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be a hell of a card. And, of course, Anthony Joshua's going to taking on Otto Wallin. That I don't see the purpose in that. I don't see it. Like, Otto was on deck and fought Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? He fought Tyson Fury. He fought the fighter who fought Deontay Wilder in the trilogy. Anthony Joshua has been unified champion. In the entire mix-up, Anthony Joshua couldn't make his way over to fight Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't make his way over there to fight either one of them. And he doesn't even have titles anymore. Alexander Usyk beat him twice. He doesn't even have titles anymore. But we were supposed to be getting Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder in December. That was rumored. But we'll take Joseph Parker. We'll take Joseph Parker. But I'm happy that Wilder, of all fighters, real talk, is being able to make that liquid money, you know what I'm saying, over there in Saudi. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that Francis Ngannou was able to make that money. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that these fighters are able to go to a new market. The heavyweights, of course, you know what I'm saying, and make this money and start, getting a little bit more spark going back to the heavyweight division, because the shit has been pretty much dormant, to be honest with you, since Wilder left. It's been pretty dormant. I ain't gonna lie to you. It hasn't been too much going on. Materials remind me of Tito, Constant Pressure. Yeah, man, dude is nice. You know what I'm saying? Dude is nice. So Wilder and Joshua come out victorious. This is off the article in Boxing Scene in their respective fights December 23rd. It could finally lead to a fight between the two. I don't know if Joshua really wants to fight with Deontay. I know at this point, it's definitely a main event. Joshua goes in here, Joshua and Wilder goes in here and win. This is a main eventer. This is a headline. Finally, we get Wilder, Joshua. Will Joshua take the fight? Something else is going on with Joshua. I don't know what it is. But Wilder's 43-2-1, 42 knockouts. You know what I'm saying? Last fought October, stopping Robert Helenius. You know what I'm saying? So the fight fans is looking forward with a sense of eagerness to see him back in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. And I want to mention my guy, Joshua Greer Jr. You know, shout out to Joshua Greer, man. He's going to be returning back to the ring after a year off. You know what I'm saying? He had some hiccups in his career, but he's going over to the DR for a return fight, you know, get back into the groove a little bit and, you know, slowly make himself back into the rankings in his division, you know, to try to make a run for another title. You know what I'm saying? Things have changed since he was last there. So it's good to see Don't Blink back in the ring coming up this month. So salute to you, brother. Wish you nothing but the best there, Joshua, and get that victory, man, and work your way back up the ladder. I do want to, you know, that's a totally different live. I was gonna talk about Bozian's comments about Boots is faster, stronger than Crawford, but I'll leave that for another live, to be honest. Let's talk about you know, this weekend, Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. Devin Haney said, I mean, you know, he's thinking past Prograis. He said him facing Gervonta Davis, he thinks that's the biggest fight in boxing. And the one thing about talking that talk is you got to believe it yourself, right? If you're going to talk that talk and you want others to believe, you got to believe it yourself. Even though some people talk trash and they don't even believe it, and they make it seem like it comes out all, you know, kind of distorted and you know what I'm saying, broken up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? There's not a smooth fluidity to it. And people just say, no, you just bullshitting. But when you say, you know, you're the biggest fight with Gervonta Davis, it's hard to even think at this point in time that would be the biggest fight. I'm pretty sure it can make some pretty decent money. You know what I'm saying? Being that the two names come together finally. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that fight anytime soon. Why I say that, outside of it being the biggest fight, I don't believe it's the biggest fight in boxing. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it's the biggest fight. Even though y'all both putting, you know, undefeated resumes on the line, I don't see it just yet. Like, yeah, you go up here and defeat a Regis Prograis. All right, you have to look at it this way too, that you are now a 2-division champion like Teofimo Lopez. So therefore you have to factor in that who have you fought that was on the pound for pound list. Like Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, if he fights Gervonta Davis, is a bigger fight than Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis. The reason why I say that is because of who Teofimo beat to get the straps down there at 135. He beat a Richard Comey and a Vasyl Lomachenko. And Lomachenko was in the top 3 at the time. He was number 2, I believe, when Teofimo beat him. So you got to think about, like, who have you fought that was on the pound for pound list? It's not Regis Prograis, you know what I'm saying? And it's not really Vasyl Lomachenko. Even though he's just hanging out because, you know, Ring Magazine loves him. They want to keep him up there with his BFF Oleksandr Usyk. He has no titles. He has no titles, bro. So it's no comparison when T.O. defeated him and when you defeat him. And George Kambosos don't count. But what I'm trying to say is other names at 140 that's a bigger fight, and people tell you it's a bigger fight. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to the sponsorships, when it comes down to the fans, everything. Like, one thing I can say about Devin, he's still trying to locate his fan base. The me against the world type of shit in boxing is not going to work. Like, you really got to find which gear you're going to be in, which lane you're going to drive, and are you willing to connect with your fans? If all your fans see you is just like, okay, you having a fight, you're going to get access, and you're going to talk a little trash to your opponent. It's going to take more than that for you to be a Gervonta Davis. Because one thing about Tank, people are coming in there to see him cut the lights out. They coming to see how he hunts. They coming to see how the fight plays out. You know, that's the excitement of it. Same thing with T.O. They coming in there to see him put on a show. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way of it. I just don't agree that you and Tank is the biggest fight, and no, just because I'm with the same complexion or whatever, I'm not going to just agree and be a yes man and say, yeah, that's the biggest fight in boxing. Because in my opinion, Crawford and Canelo is the biggest fight in boxing. But you want to talk about 140-pound division, you know, you got to factor T.O.'s name in there also. You know what I'm saying? I can see if you chose to go over there, and if you beat Regis, you go over there and fight Teofimo, and if you're able to unify 140, now you go in and try to fight Tank. Now you're talking a whole different story. You're talking about a 2-division unified champion going in there fighting Tank. Now it becomes a whole nother story. Now you have much more leverage, and your FICO score has definitely shot up at the 140-pound division, and people look at it different. You're the WBC WBO champion. Now you're going after a third title at 140. That's different. That's different. That's entirely different, big dog. You just can't say, okay, I go beat Regis today and I go for Tank, and that's the biggest fight in boxing just because they say so. No, it's not the biggest fight in boxing, but it is interesting. Yes, indeed, it is definitely interesting. But when you're talking about Tank's fan base to Devin Haney's fan base, it's no comparison, bro. You know, Tank has some diehard Tank fans. Like, he has some diehard Tank fans, bro. Dudes who relate from him either from outside the ring or the ones who relate with him from being inside the ring. But he has a freaking diehard fan base. Real talk. He has established his persona, his bravado, machismo, whatever you want to call it. He's established that in his career. Fan bases are different. Fan bases, the elevation is no question. You know what I'm saying? Tank's up here, Devin's down there. You have to do something else spectacular. You win this fight against Regis, you go fight somebody like T.O., and you get through T.O., then now you talking different language. You're a 2-division unified champion. Now people talking. Now you going in there possibly making more money than what Ryan was able to. I don't know. I don't really deal with the numbers. But potentially, if you can run that gauntlet and skate around Matias, you know what I'm saying? Hey, now we talking different. You know what I'm saying? Now we talking a whole different scheme of maneuver with a freaking huge reward. You coming there with 2 titles and you fighting Tank? Shit. Now we talking a whole nother hymn note. The choir even sound different. You know what I'm saying? The choir, the pitch in their voice is different. You know where I'm at with it, bro. Well, you know, look at it like this too, Jay. I'm not sure what you mean by no more Al Heyman, but What I myself will digress from is trying to figure out what's gonna be the forecast for 2024. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the forecast for, what's going on over there and the fighters that's attached and what direction they're going and who they're gonna fight. I don't know, man. It's not up to me to try to figure out, you know what I'm saying, and brainstorm like it's a tactical mission to try to see who's gonna be on the schedule. Even with Crawford Spence, I can't do it. I don't know, man. Like you don't hear nothing from none of the fighters. Maybe they don't know, but we don't even have an idea when certain fights are gonna happen. Even Javante and freaking Isaac Cruz, it was a person that put out that Amazon Prime, the fight was supposed to be in January. Well, if that's indeed the case, it would be cap in my opinion, because there haven't been no promo on that fight. So if a fight of that magnitude with Tank Davis, who just made the amount of money he did with Ryan Garcia, how can that fight be in January? But it's some outlets out here that just put out anything for clickbait. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what the bigger fights are gonna be. Like people, you have who Canelo is gonna fight next. We don't know. We've been hearing, okay, Hammy McGill fighting John Ryder. Okay, cool. No one's really looking for that fight. Really, we're not. Canelo's the big ticket, of course. Crawford's a big ticket. Whether the big tickets come together and be able to make the ticket is the biggest question. Jamal Charlo, he has put it out there that he's going to fight like 3 times in 2024, which is great, awesome. But who is he going to fight on return? There's so many names that he can fight upon his return. Who's he going to fight upon his return? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a clue. But I'm interested to see who he matches up with, what division he's going to fight in. First of all, we can't sit up here and say, okay, let's have a conversation about Jamal Charlo fighting 168 without taking in consideration of what he's going to do at 160 with the WBC title. You know what I'm saying? There's no need for him to continue to be recognized as a WBC champion, but yet his next fight is going to be at 166. You know what I'm saying? At a catch weight again. People are going to start saying, damn, boxing really is a joke when it comes to these sanctioned bodies. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But let's see who he's talking about. I'm curious. Jamel Charlo. Outside of the drama that they have, really with family, and all of us have that drama, you know what I'm saying? We just don't see it play out like we've seen the Charlos. I've said in the past, I really don't have that itch to want to speak on a Crawford male Charlo. He does have 2 belts, and it is a opportunity for Crawford to, add a 4th division to his legacy and also collect a couple of more titles. But, being that, Jamel Charlo went in there with Canelo Alvarez and just basically just fought a poor fight, you know what I'm saying, with the amount of activity that he chose not to put into the, his level of aggression. He chose to basically be on the egress, and it just didn't look good for him. So when you're talking about money, you're talking about people, trying to get the consumers to be convinced that Jamel Charlo and Terrence Crawford would be a better fight than Canelo, and they should see it. I mean, he kind of spoiled the milk when he was in there with Canelo. Real talk. He kind of spoiled that shit crazy, bro. Just the whole attitude that he had after the fight. It's sat bad with people, bro. And now I can almost assume that when he does return back to society, you know what I'm saying, whenever he returns back to civilization and he's linked up with some media. He's gonna go back to the old brash, disrespectful, belligerent male Charlo. He gonna be like, "Why y'all ask me that? Why you do this? Why you? That's Canelo. I went 12 rounds, didn't I? I ain't get knocked out, did I?" You know, he gonna try to come in here and talk all this shit about Crawford. And 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 it would be good if he's still talking shit without fighting Canelo. Okay? It'd be good if he still had the WBC, WBA, and the IBF title. It'll be good. Because we still haven't seen him go in there and drop that egg off the bridge the way he did. And that shit just splat on the motherfucking roadway. You know what I'm saying? If he wouldn't have went in there and fought Canelo, then we would be a little bit okay with him still trash talking and being the little baby he is. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, he went in there and fought the way he fought. And people ain't really trying to spend their money to say, man, we don't think you're going to give Crawford a good run for his money. We don't think you're going to be competitive. We don't believe all the rah, because you was extremely, just everything about Mel Charlo's freaking build up to fight Canelo was bad. In Japanese, it's a dame desu ka? Dame. Like, it was bad, man. It was so freaking bad. Like, he was just basically adhering to all of Canelo's orders. Canelo dictated everything, bro. And the wild part about it, I think Mel Charlo is older than Canelo. But neither here nor there. The whole lead up was bad. He acted like he was fearful and apprehensive about, you know, talking shit about Canelo. And then he went in there and fought the same way, bro. He went in there and fought the way, I swear to God. So it leads us to this point right here. For me, I still keep the options open. I still keep the door ajar just a little bit as the Crawford, you know, fighting Mel Charlo because he has 2 titles. Okay, that's as much as I can say about it. Because this dude just a whiner, bro. That's as much as I can say about it. Uh, okay. And this will be my last topic for the day. I'm gonna close out with the fight that's going on this weekend, and a big question that everybody has about, you know, how the prediction is gonna play out between Devin Haney and Regis Prograis. I really couldn't tell you, to be honest. I don't know how it's gonna play out. I really don't know. I'm not predicting any winner. I'm not going for any particular fighter. It is what it is in this fight. But I do understand that I have the capability of listening, and you know, Regis Prograis has been on record as saying, what about it? What did he say he was gonna do? You have to stand on that, big dog. You have to stand on that. Real talk. You have to stand on that, man. For real. Regis, you have to stand on knocking Devin out. You have to stand on it, brother. You cannot sit up here and say that you're going to put a stamp that it's going to happen. You're going to seal the deal. You got to make it happen, bro. And then for Devin, hey, his main intent is to go in there and just box your ears off like he did George Kambosos. That's pretty much where it's at. He feels that he's the more all-around technically sound fighter. And it's potential that the fight, you're going to be chasing him, you know, from side to side, back, forth, and all the other. Because a lot of people used to say this about Haney, that he, you know, he'll run around the ring and all that, right? But he really didn't run around the ring with Jojo Diaz. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We have to take in consideration that he didn't run around the ring twice with Kambosos, and he didn't run with Vasyl Lomachenko. So with that said, if he chose to be right there, holding residence right there, you and him, center square, and you're getting outboxed, you're going to have a lot to explain to do, because your coach is being adamant about you, you know, knocking them out and everything. Y'all are absolutely predicting. Y'all are prognosticating. Y'all are saying that Devin is going to get knocked out. But I keep on telling anyone, because, you know, I try to dichotomize it right down the center. At the end of the day, you can talk about a fighter being chinny, but if Regis has been on the canvas and Devin was stuck, you know, he was buzzed and didn't go down, you have to look at the chinny aspect. You know what I'm saying? Both fighters been hurt, yeah. Who went to the canvas? Regis. So therefore, when the chinny argument presents itself, you got to go back to the evidence. You got to present receipts. So if this fight is a center square type of fight, then it becomes more entertaining for the fight fans, and then for future opponents that you all want to fight, if you are indeed victorious this weekend. So y'all can look at from both sides on the statements y'all both made. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Regis. You say you're going to knock him out. There's no doubt about it. You're going to knock him out. You got to go in there and knock this man out. And then when it comes to Haney, go in there and show that, you know, you're a superior boxer. You got better skills, foot movement, more equitable speed. You know what I'm saying? All that. It should be a damn good fight. If y'all put that shit together for a climactic conclusion for 12 freaking rounds, it's gonna be one to remember. If it's a snooze fest, bro, y'all can cancel that shit with any other fighter wanting to step in there with either one of you all. For real, if we're talking about, it's just gonna be a boxing match where we're looking at a fighter who has more fundamentally, you know, sound, or he's more fundamental advantages, you know, during the fight, and the fighter that has more power is not able to get on the inside and make that, you know, put that fighter in a situation of controversy or something, you know, hurt him, push him up against the ropes. If it's just a one-sided affair, the whole fight, oh my God, man, it's just not gonna be pretty. So when you say you're gonna stamp and both of y'all are talking what you think is gonna happen, hey, no doubt. I just can't wait to see the fight. Real talk. I can't wait to see the fight. Seriously. But on to the next, man. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game, A-Side Official. Hey, man, look forward to doing it again. Hey, y'all continue to support the channel. Peace.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back. Sports, talking way too much, world come back. Sports, talking way too much, world come back. Sports.